Hello everyone. Today let's go over a famous grind 75 medium question. This one is a DFS question and matrix. It's very fundamental. If you learn this technique, you can probably solve a lot of different questions. This one's called number of islands, and essentially you're given a 2D array, not of integers, but of strings of either string of 1 or string of 0, and you want to find the number of islands and return that as an integer. So what does number of islands mean? Well, if you take a look at this grid, move this to the right. An island is essentially a one that you find that is connected to other ones. So if you find a one and then you go in all four directions, you should be able to find more ones, and those are part of the same island. So here, right, if 0 was here, or if this was a 1, this would not be part of the same island, but this is all part of the same island because by either going up or down or left or right, you can visit it directly. So in this example, for example, you have 3 islands because, again, this is not the part of the same island as this, and this is also not the same island. So if it's diagonal, up, down, left, right, or bottom left, or upper left or bottom right, or the other way around, then it's not the same island. So it's kind of confusing, but if you know this, you can start coding it up. Essentially, we want to go through the grid from left to right, row to row. So we're going to go like this through the grid, and then if we find a 1, then we already know that's part of one island. So we can already increment result because we don't want to double count islands. And then you can call a depth first search function. And the purpose of this depth first search function is to connect the islands. So for example, if you find more ones, if you find a 1, we're gonna go down, and then we're gonna go right, and then we're gonna go left, and then we're gonna go right. And once we hit a dead end, we're gonna backtrack, and we're not gonna count them because we already marked the ones we already stepped over as visited. So the first thing to do when you call a recursive function is to do your boundary checks. So if I is less than 0, or I is bigger than or equal to the length of the grid, which is just how many rows you have, or j is less than 0, or j is bigger than length of grid 0, which is going to be the length of the first row, because as you notice, the rows aren't of different lengths, and that's good. So if that's the case, or grid ij is equal to 0, because when we visit a cell, we're not going to double count it twice, so we're just going to turn it from a 1 to a 0, a string 0. Because we know a string 0 will never be part of an island. In that case, we can just return, kill the function call, and then go on to the next one. If that's not the case, we're seeing part of the same island, so we want to set the cell to 0, and then keep going, because this is the first recursive call, and we're going to step on this cell, say it's a 1, set it to 0, and then we're going to go in other directions. So you can go, this is going to be down, this is going to be left, this is going to be to the right, and this is going to be to the left. This is actually, I think it's up. So, because i's plus 1's going down, I minus 1's going up, and then at the end of this, we're not going to count any other islands. These are just connecting the islands, and then at the end, when you iterate over the entire grid, at the end you can just return the result. So, or this, okay. So less than 0, because we can't be here, or above the grid, or grid ij is equal to 0, then we return yes. Okay, it's unmatched. That's the problem right there. And there you go. So it passes all test cases. I think this one's actually kind of confusing because you really have to just visualize how the matrix moves. But over time, I guess it becomes a little easier. So I hope this video was helpful, and consider subscribing and stay tuned for more.